Big Ben and Westminster Palace. Big Ben and Westminster Palace. Focus question. How Big Ben and Westminster Palace become iconic landmarks. A British icon. A little over 150 years ago, metal workers in East London made a bell that has become a British icon. Its name is Big Ben. It sits in a huge clock tower named the Elizabeth Tower in London, United Kingdom, UK, measuring 2.7 meters, 9 feet wide, and 2.2 meters, 7.2 feet tall, and weighing in at over 13 metric tons. 14.3 tons. This bell was pulled about 61 meters, 200 feet up to the belfry of the tower in 1858. It took 30 hours to get it there. Today, the clock tower is one of the most photographed and most widely known landmarks in the world. Why Ben? When Big Ben first started marking time in 1859, the British Parliament decided that the bell needed a name. No one is sure of the true story, but it may have been named after a member of Parliament, Sir Benjamin Hall, whose nickname was Big Ben, at a meeting called specifically to choose the bell's name. Sir Benjamin gave a long speech. In fact, his name is carved on the bell. According to another story, the bell might have been named after a large and famous heavyweight boxer of the time, Benjamin Conte, who shared the nickname Big Ben. London. Big Ben and the Palace of the Westminster, also known as Parliament, stand on the banks of the River Thames in London. The palace is the centre of government for the United Kingdom, made up of England, Wales, Scotland, and Northern Ireland. The last king to live in the Palace of Westminster was Henry VIII. Henry moved out of the palace after a fire in 1512 and made nearby Whitehall Palace his residence. A plot to destroy Parliament. Nearly 200 years after Henry VIII moved out of the palace, a man named Guy Fawkes and 5 others devised a plot to blow up the Houses of Parliament. Angry that they weren't allowed to practice their religion as they wished, they sneaked 36 barrels of gunpowder into the basement under the Houses of Parliament. Knowing the king would be there, they planned to blow up the building on November 5th, 1605. Luckily for the king, the men were all caught charring with trying to overthrow the government and execute it. To this day, people in the UK celebrate the king's survival on November 5th as Guy Fawkes Day on Bonfire Night. The Great Fire of 1834. Over 200 years after Guy Fawkes was captured, on October 16, 1834, 2 workmen were carrying out orders to burn a large quantity of sticks that people used an early accounting system. They were told to burn these sticks inside some furnaces in the basement of Parliament. Visitors to Parliament they noticed an unusual amount of heat rising from the floor and smoke escaping through the floorboards. The workmen continued to burn the sticks and put the furnaces out at 5 p.m. An hour later, at 6 p.m., the Parliament was completely in flames. All the buildings in Westminster Minster Palace were eventually destroyed except for Westminster Hall, an ambitious rebuilding. 6 years after the Great Fire of 1834, a contest was held to find an architect to design a new Westminster Palace. The winner was Charles Barry, building the structure as neither a quick or a cheap task. It took 30 years and cost much more than what was estimated before the project was finally completed in 1870. Charles Barry was helped by another architect, Augustus Pugin, who managed the design and decoration of the clock tower's 4 clock faces. Sadly, Charles Barrett and Augustus Pugin did not live long enough to see their work completed. Pugin died in 1852 and Barry in 1860. Wowzer! The Elizabeth Tower tilts about 0.45 meters, 1.5 feet to one side. Each of Big Ben's deals is illuminated by 28 energy efficient light bulbs. The clock faces are cleaned every 5 years using soap and water. Big Ben chimes every quarter hour. The chimes can be heard 8 kilometers, 5 miles away. Today, people can admire Bury and Pidgeon's work. Westminster has 3 towers on the site of the Houses of Parliament: the Elizabeth Tower, the Victoria Tower, and the Central Tower. For many years, the Victoria Tower was the largest square stone tower in the world. The Elizabeth Tower, which houses Big Ben, stands over 96 meters, 316 feet tall. Workers used stones from England and France to build the tower and iron beams to support it. The base of the tower is almost 3 meters, 10 feet underground. The 91.4 meter, 300 feet central tower was designed as a chimney for smoke from fireplaces inside the palace. 2 houses. The British Parliament is made up of 2 separate houses. The British people elect members of the House of Commons to debate and vote on possible laws. Members of the House of Lords are not elected. Some have titles, such as Lord and Lady, and others are important members of the Church of England. With approval from the Lords and Commons, new laws are made and become the law of the land. These laws are called Acts of Parliament. Visiting Westminster Palace. Anyone can visit Parliament and take towers, watch debates, and even have afternoon tea. United Kingdom residents can climb the 344 steps to the top of the Elizabeth Tower, where they get an amazing view of London. They can also view Big Ben and visit a special room where they can see actually how the giant clock works. The clock was designed to mark time to within 1 second a month. The pendulum is adjusted using a stack of old British pennies. Adding or subtracting a penny changes the time by 2/5 of a second. Then and now. Over the centuries, Westminster has held many events, including huge feasts and parties. Many of these events happened when a new king or queen was being crowned. At King Richard III's coronation in 1483, workers served huge amounts of food to 3,000 people. Parliament has some old rules that are still around today. Since 1642, no English king or queen has been permitted to go inside the House of Commons. Also, no one may wear a suit of armor inside the Palace of Westminster. This new law dates back 700 years. A much-loved world landmark. People who lived in the United Kingdom as well as visitors are familiar with the chimney of Big Ben. The bell rings every 15 minutes. The chimes are heard live on TV at midnight every New Year's Eve, and each November 11 the entire country stops for 2 minutes of silence. On that day, Big Ben rings at 11 a.m. to honor those who have lost their lives in wars. Since the time it was built, the palace has been popular with visitors to London. Today, 13 million people visit the city each year. Westminster Palace, the Elizabeth Tower, and Big Ben are the most famous symbols of Britain.